On January the 1st, 2000, we began providing daily uplifting moments during drive time on Gulf Coast radio stations. As CEO of Volunteers of America, the purpose of these 60-second moments was to uplift people in our community, to encourage people on their journey, to think positive, and to serve one another. We wanted to share the values that Volunteers of America has had for over 100 years. Since October 2016, we've been providing a Sunday morning devotional on CBS affiliate WKRG-TV in Mobile, Alabama, with the same mission as the radio moments. Out of these radio and TV moments, 2 365-day devotional books were published, Uplifting Moments and Uplifting Moments 2. Our prayer is that God will speak to you through these messages that He has inspired through these years. The radio moments, the TV moments, and the devotional books have been a part of our ministry at Volunteers of America Southeast. Good morning. What is your name? Your name is one of the most important things you have. Who you are, that's your name. The way you live, the way you give, the way you care has everything to do with what your name is. You may have lost a good name, but your name can be redeemed. The past doesn't have to define your name today. Create a good name by living a good life, by caring about others, by investing your time and your resources in the lives of others. A good name is the one thing you can take with you and also leave behind. Cherish your name and protect it. A good name is to be more desired than great riches. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Janet hopped into a taxi at the airport. As traffic became heavy, a car pulled right out in front of the taxi, causing the taxi to slam on the brakes to avoid the crash. The driver of the other car started yelling at the taxi. The taxi driver just smiled. Janet asked, "Why are you so nice to that driver? He could have caused a horrible wreck." The taxi driver explained, "Many people are like garbage trucks. They run around full of garbage, anger, frustration, and disappointment. As it piles up, they need a place to dump it. And sometimes they dump it on people. Just don't take it personally. Be angry and sin not," the Bible teaches us. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. What are you thinking right now? Is it positive or negative? Is the glass half empty or half full? What you think about determines who you are. If you see yourself as a victim, then you deflect responsibility, and that's your future. If you see yourself as victorious, then you will be, and you will become more than you ever thought. A 10-year-old boy thought, "One day I will get out of poverty and be a doctor." Even when people told him he didn't have what it takes to achieve such goals, he kept his positive determination, and he achieved more than he thought possible. What you think about determines where you go in life. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. School has started. Students are back in their ruts, and so are their parents. But it's not back to school for everyone. For some parents, getting their kids ready for school has been a way of life. But now, the yellow school bus doesn't stop anymore. Why? Because the kids have moved on. The nest is empty. What a big change. How do we cope with an empty nest? We will either manage the change or it will manage us. Embrace the change. Keep loving and caring. Find new ways to express your love. Celebrate the new opportunities. The yellow school bus may not stop now, but life is not over. It's full of new possibilities. Maybe the best is yet to be. Just try it. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. One afternoon, Mary saw a small sign reading Daffodil Gardens, next left. Curious, she decided to follow. Minutes later, she turned onto a winding road and saw a small house. At the next corner, she gasped. Thousands of daffodils were planted in beautiful patterns of orange, white, yellow, and pink. On the porch of the house was a poster. It read, 50,000 bulbs, one at a time by one woman, began in 1958. This unknown woman, more than 40 years before, had planted one bulb at a time to bring her vision of beauty to an obscure mountaintop. You too can accomplish your magnificent vision, one piece at a time. Just do it. This is Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. When I ride my bike or walk as a way of exercise, I always meet up with a number of dogs. Some are friendly and wag their tails while running along beside me, but others are not so friendly and always bark at me. One day I came home to my neighbor's dog barking at me. The owner, John, said to his dog, "He's already been barked at today. No need for you to bark too." What if we had that attitude when our children got home from school, or when our spouse got home from work, or even with our coworkers? They've already been barked at. No need for me to bark too. Give each other words of affirmation, words of appreciation, encouragement. Don't bark. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Back in the mid-50s, a 5-year-old boy had an old wagon that had been discarded. The wagon, however, did not have a handle for pulling. A gentleman down the street who worked at a junkyard told the young lad that he would get him a new wagon handle from the junkyard. But every day the young boy stood in his yard, waiting for the man to walk home with a handle for the wagon. The boy believed each day would be the day when he would get a wagon handle. It never happened. When you make a promise, keep it. Some 5-year-old boy may be counting on you to deliver on what you promised. By the way, I was that boy. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Eleanor Roosevelt wrote, "Many people will walk in and out of your life, but only true friends will leave footprints in your heart." Who has left footprints in your heart? Is it a teacher who inspired you to do your best? An employer who gave you an opportunity you thought you would never have? A parent who gave you the foundation that you needed? Or a spouse who sticks with you no matter what? They made a difference in who we have become. Do not wait until someone is gone to express gratitude for the blessings they have been. Tell them today. Each day we have the opportunity to leave footprints on the hearts of others by caring and serving. Just do it. I'm Wallace Davis, VOA. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. A duck hunter bought a dog that could walk on water, retrieve a duck. He took his friend, a pessimist by nature, to hunt with him and his new dog. As they waited by the shore, a flock of ducks flew by. They fired, and a duck fell. The dog jumped into the water, but did not sink. He walked on water, retrieved the bird, never getting more than his paws wet. The pessimist watched carefully, but did not say a single word. On the drive home, the hunter asked the friend, "Did you notice anything unusual about my dog?" "I sure did," responded the pessimist. "He can't swim." An optimist or a pessimist? Choose your attitude well. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. You will experience an unexpected crisis in your life. How you handle it will make all the difference. In the Old Testament, we meet Samson. One beautiful afternoon, Samson was traveling down a road to see his girlfriend. As he was walking, he encountered a giant lion, a crisis of life and death. Samson, with his strength, killed the lion and threw the carcass on the side of the road and went on his way. A few weeks later, he came down the same road and noticed a swarm of bees flying around the carcass. He discovered a beehive had built inside the dead lion. In this beehive, he found honey. You too can take your crises and turn them into honey. How you respond will make the difference. This is Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. A frog from Minnesota wanted to escape the cold weather. Two geese nearby were about to start their flight southward for their annual migration. The frog asked them, "Will you take me with you?" At first they refused. They didn't see how it could be done. But the frog devised a plan. He convinced each of them to hold either end of a short stick in their beaks. Then he said he would hold on in the middle with his mouth. During the flight over Indiana, a farmer looked up into the clear blue skies. He remarked loudly, "What a clever idea! I wonder which one of them came up with that remarkable idea." The frog could be heard yelling, "I did," as he plummeted to the earth. I'm Wallace Davis, VOA. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. One day, a meat cutter was working to catch up. In his haste, he accidentally backed into his meat-cutting machine. His response was, "I think I just got a little behind in my work." Getting a little behind in our work can be painful. It can be overwhelming. Life can be stressful when we are under pressure. What do we do with our stress? We can dump it on families or coworkers. That will certainly create more stress. Or we can take responsibility for our stress and determine healthy ways to deal with it. Whatever it means, it is important that we do not dump our stress on other people, no matter how much behind we get in our work. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Deal with your stress. Good morning. In 1725, a boy was born to a devout Christian family. Orphaned at the age of 7, his new guardians made him disavow his faith. Miserable and rebellious, he ran away to sea. His wild nature brought him many narrow escapes. He was locked up on an African slave trading ship for drunken behavior. When the ship almost sunk in a violent storm, he experienced a spiritual awakening. Later, he was ordained as a minister and went on to write over 100 hymns. We remember John Newton for his hymn, Amazing Grace. No matter how severe the storms, change for the better is possible. Amazing news for John Newton, amazing news for us. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. An eagle knows when a storm is approaching long before it arrives. The eagle will fly to a high spot and wait for the winds to come. When the storm hits, the eagle will set its wings so that the wind will pick it up and lift it high above the storm. As the storm rages, the eagle is soaring above it, gliding with ease. The eagle doesn't escape the storm. It simply uses the storm to lift it higher. When the storms come, we can allow the winds to lift us or sink us, but we can't escape the storm. Be an eagle. Let God's wind lift you above the burdens of this day. Soar like an eagle, but don't hang out with the buzzards. This is Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Today is Easter Sunday. Christians around the world are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Are you ready to celebrate? What does Easter mean to you? Good Friday was the day Jesus died for our sins so that we might know forgiveness. Today we celebrate the fact that our old history ends at the cross and our new history begins with the resurrection. The grave was not the end for Jesus, and the same can be true for us. May you know and share the hope found in Easter, the hope found in every day in our relationship with God. Celebrate that hope with someone. Celebrate He is risen. Jesus taught us by the way He lived and died. There are no limits to caring. I'm Wallace Davis. Good morning. Today we celebrate Mother's Day, a day when we recognize and honor mothers, our grandmothers who helped to shape us into the people that we are today. Mothers are very influential people. The Bible reminds us to remember our mothers' teachings and to honor our mothers. As we celebrate Mother's Day, I'm keenly aware that some find this time rather painful. In a non-perfect world, we celebrate events as if everything is storybook perfect. But they're not. Our response may be to find a substitute mom or be a substitute mom, not just for Mother's Day, but year-round. It's not too late. Reach out and create a relationship that brings love into your life and offers you an opportunity to love. Happy Mother's Day. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Happy Father's Day. What would be the ultimate Father's Day gift for you? A new boat, a fast new car. For me, it would be that my children would love me in spite of my shortcomings. They would forgive me of my mistakes and remember the things I did right. They would live out the values that I've taught them: love, compassion, caring, hard work, a good family person. Perhaps these are the ultimate gifts that we can give to our fathers. The best gift is love. Don't forget to tell your dad something you know he'll want to hear. I love you, Dad. Whether you call, text, or send a card, let him know you care. Happy Father's Day. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Sometimes I pause to wonder, why me, Lord? Why was I born in this great country? Then the challenging question, what am I doing to pass on the blessings to the next generation? We live in a divided nation. Our greatest threat of losing our freedom is from a divided house. Our greatest enemy. Having it my way doesn't ensure freedom. Only when we come together and work with people who think differently will we see the security of our freedom. Unity and community will make us strong. What am I doing to build community? Our strength lies in unity, compassion, and working together. Independence Day is a reminder that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Thanksgiving Day is coming. I love Thanksgiving Day. It's my favorite day of the year. For over 2 decades, we've had family and friends come to our home Thanksgiving Day for lunch. I love it. Whatever you choose to do this Thanksgiving Day, make sure you express your thanksgiving to God and to one another. And we will teach our children and our grandchildren the importance of always being thankful. The Pilgrims had a challenging first Thanksgiving in this country, but it was enriched by the Native Americans who cared for the new immigrants by helping them to have food to eat during this first Thanksgiving season. Wow, that's a great example for us. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning. Great speeches live on. Roosevelt said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Kennedy said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." Those speeches live on. The greatest speech was over 2,000 years ago in Bethlehem. "For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord." That speech is the reason for this season. This Christmas, we celebrate the love and peace that Jesus brought into this world. Jesus came to take away fear and to teach us to give. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Merry Christmas. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Good morning and Happy New Year. Some things are best left behind. We need to leave behind our hurts and pains, mistakes and wrongs. Forgive those who wronged us and seek forgiveness of those we may have hurt. We need to leave behind those things that divided us. Wipe the slate clean for the new year. But some things we need to bring with us into the new year. We need to take into the new year our dreams and hopes, the courage to be all that God has created us to be, a caring heart, and the determination to be a brother or a sister to those in need. Find a way to bring unity in a divided country. Be our best for one another. I'm Wallace Davis. There are no limits to caring. Happy New Year. We pray that God has spoken to you through these video moments. Thank you for watching. May God bless you on your journey. There are no limits to caring.